Hello ladies and gentlemen, for today's animation we're going to be doing a Freebone character using Cartoon Animator 5. These ones are fun for me to do because they're always kind of unique in their approach. I have a client who has this bird and it's an SVG that they have created, and we're going to go ahead and rig this up for animation in Cartoon Animator 5. I'm using Adobe Illustrator. In this case, I'm going to drag the SVG into Adobe Illustrator, and the first thing I always do is take a look at it to see how it's structured and what I need to do to edit it. Now I did open this earlier, and so let me just show you what I've done. When you're looking at a character like this is unique because it's got this fun outline that sometimes can be tricky because we need to be able to have things moving around and joints moving. So when we're using this, we're going to want to make sure these two back feathers are behind this torso, as well as the neck and these legs are both going to be behind the torso to give that effect. And I actually enjoy this process because each time I do a Freebone character like this, it's unique, and so it just teaches you how to use the software and work around it. So in this case, I've already done this, but I'll just show you kind of what I did. This was a cut off sharp pointed shape, and so I just rounded it out by tapping on it and then using these tools to round them out down here, just these three. Same thing with the legs, I rounded it out, and then what I did is I used the asset export window. If you come to window, asset export, and you just got to make sure they're all in their own folders. You name them. Okay, discussed with the client, definitely going to go with a smoother. Overall, smoother joints is going to look better in Cartoon Animator due to the way it works. And this flamingo, this original one here, just too many sharp corners. And so what I've done is I've taken each one using the smooth tool like this on each part, and I've created this version. And I think they'll like it a lot more than what we had here. Now, one thing I do want to do, well, it had a joint here. I guess we could take something like this, bring it on in here, and see if it would look good as a rounded joint. I might just want to do a full ellipse here, like so. We could try that as an option. It might not look bad, just as to get that. I mean, this is the original to get that look there, but when you're dealing with these things, you kind of want to make sure things are more smooth than not. And so I'm going to go ahead and try that. I think that'll look nice. I'm going to call that the knee, and let's go ahead and smooth this out. I might have done more than I wanted it to. I'm going to undo. I'm going to use the pen tool. I'm going to get rid of this. And on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. Pen tool. Pen tool. There we go. I'm just gonna, the idea is to give that just this cool effect that's going on with this character, but a little more rounded. So now that I've got that, I'm going to take this and export it. So I'm in Illustrator, saved. Make sure everything's on the main layer. I'm gonna get my window asset export, and let's delete our previous one, add all these, export them as a SVG and PNG, and that is underneath these presets here. You can click that button and you can detail out your presets, SVGs. There's the, just pause this, that's what you need to set that as, and then PNG. And what that does is it gives you these here, and then you can export them in any folder you choose. Let's go to my new folder, new hard drive, rigs, and I'm gonna hit select folder. Now I also like to have a reference. So I'm gonna go Control G, group it, and there's my reference. I'll show you why in just a minute. Export. Okay, now that I've got everything I need, I'm gonna save this, close that one I don't need, close, and I'm gonna go over to Cartoon Animator, pull open my flamingo. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. I want to go grab the reference image I made in this client's folder. So rigs and SVG. I'm gonna view large. All right, so there's all the parts that I've got all smoothed out, ready to go. Let's drag in the reference image. It's a bone actor. Now that I have the reference image in here, the first thing I do is go to bones, move the root down to the root, and now I can start adding bones. I'm going to start with the hip bone, which is right there. I'm going to go to the leg. I'm going to go to the knee, and then the shank, and then foot, and like so. I'm going to get out of this end effector so I don't forget, and click that heel. That allows us to use inverse kinematics. Go back to the bone editor, add a bone. I'm going to have one for that feather, escape, and then add a bone. I'm going to have one for that feather, escape, add a bone. I'm going to have one that connects the neck, escape. I didn't have to hit escape, but I did. So on this, the neck, I'm going to put one here, 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 and then the head nub. And then from here, we're gonna have the face, which you really don't need much. Okay, so we've got every bone that we want, except for we're gonna get the other leg now. So let's add another bone. And being that it's a sideways character, I'm gonna just slightly put it in front of this one. And now we have 2 legs. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the scene. We're going to name everything. So this is going to be leg right, knee right, shank right, foot right 1, foot right nub. Okay, now we're going to go over to here. That's going to be the neck. This is going to be neck 1, neck -2. Just however you like to be able to recognize them easily. I'm an amateur programmer, and so I like to use camel casing or just different methodologies so my brain recognizes things. That's the beak. This is the beak nub. And if you're not seeing this, it's just highlighting it as I click on these. Over here, we're going to have the hip. We're going to have leg left, which is thigh. I should have put thigh, but it's right. Knee left, shank left, foot left 1, and then foot left nub. Excuse me. Then we've got this, which is our feather top. Excuse me, feather bottom. All right, now we've got all that in place. I'm going to add another bone to these feathers so that they can wiggle a bit. And this, okay, and I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and save this character. Yes. Now we're going to use our spring bones. We're going to assign a new group called feathers, and we're going to assign this and this. I didn't want to assign the roots because we need to be able to still move them, but you assign, that's why you do multiple bones. You assign the sub bones of the root bone of the part you're moving so that you have something that's still movable. If I assign these as springs, then I'm in trouble because it doesn't work the way this software works. Preview. I'm going to go ahead and shake. I like it more stiff, maybe not that stiff. If I were to go, oh, you know, before we do that, let's go put the parts in place. Ahead of myself. So now that we've got all the bones in place, we're still just using this one root reference image. If I go to the sprite editor here, you can see it here. So what we need to do is we're ultimately going to delete that, but we need to start putting the different parts in place. So I'm going to start with the head, add, and I'm going to go to the rigs, SVG, view large icons, and there's the head. And we're just going to drag these into place. We're just adding individual parts now. Neck, let's go grab the neck, and then the hip. Just go down the row here, hip torso area, and then the feather top is going to be you. Okay, feather bottom is going to be this one, and then leg left, we're going to go grab the thigh there. Knee, we're going to try our experimentation here. It may or may not look good, we'll see. Boom. Shank there, and then left foot, and where's my foot? Okay. And then before I go to the right, I'm just going to make sure I got everything lined up right on the left. That looks good. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the sprite editor and start on the right leg and just do the same thing. Put the thigh in there, just slightly off. Let's get the knee for the right leg. It's actually not too bad. And then the shank on the right, and then the foot on the right. Okay, so now we're going to go to the root position here, and we're going to delete that image. And now we're going to come over to the layers. We're going to layer everything. Those feathers should be behind, like so. Boom. And the legs should also be behind. So I'm going to just highlight all those, shift select them. We're just going to put them all the way back. Except for the left leg should be in front of the right leg. So leg left is going to go in front of leg right. Yeah, that looks good. And then the head is going in front of the neck. And all of this should go underneath the head. File, save character, just overwrite that, and except for the neck should go behind there, and I'm going to put the head behind there too. Okay, so now if I hit preview, let's just grab these, and I need to fix that there, and we need to put the knee joint. So let's undo the preview, zoom in here, come down, and let's work on this. So we need to move the sprite of the right leg to here, and we need to move the knee above both of these, and then we need to leg left, shank left, and then this kneecap needs to go above there. I think that will fix it. Now we need to go to the bone editor, make sure this comes down a bit to this foot. Now let's save. Now we could save the object profile, which saves all the spring bones, but it's not a huge character, but let's just go ahead and save it just because we can. Go zoom out, which is Alt and middle and left click together, and then left click to move around. And now let's go to preview, and I bet we can make that look a lot better. Let's just make sure everything's in place. Yes. And then we've got the head. Something's misaligned there, so I need to look at that. And I don't like where that is going. Well, actually, it's not bad. Feathers, the neck. Okay, preview. Very good. Probably because I need another neck bone. So let's come under here. Let's zoom in. Alt, left and right click together, and then left click to move around. We are going to add a bone by first, let's get rid of the sprite, and then let's go to the bone editor and delete that bone. Add a bone. It's going to be here, and then we're going to add one for the head. Okay, and now that I've got the head, I add its sprite there, and then we go to the bone editor and we add a bone like so. And now preview looks much better. Let's show the wireframe. Undo preview, and let's affect all layers. Density up. The alignment, let's just give it 1, and that should make it look a lot better as it's bending. Let's do another preview, and it does have a natural bend, so let me look at this. Yeah, we still want it to be as we've set it up. Okay, so let's go back, go to our scene, and make sure this is the neck nub. That's the head, that's the beak, and that's the beak nub. Beak nub. Be consistent here. And then on this, let's zoom in. Let's go find our editor. I'm going to put this here and just see if this helps us a bit. And then what that's going to do is move this to there and this to there. Let me come in here and hide the left so I can see what I'm doing. Left, left, left. And that's the right foot. We want the left foot over here, the right foot over here. And let's hide the left foot. And so this guy needs to be here, and the bones need to be there. Now let's turn off these and turn these on. Bone editor, hello. And then sprite editor. I'm not sure what's going on with that bone there. All right, so now let's turn these on. Let's go close out of here, preview. Yeah, move it up too far. It needs to be more circular. Sometimes you're playing around with this, trying to figure out what looks best. So let's just start with the one leg, the left. Let's turn off the right, and let's figure this out. Bone, the knee needs to go there, and this joint needs to be right over with the knee. And then you there. Let's go to the sprite editor. We're gonna go ahead and just do that. I need a bigger knee joint, honestly. That is odd. So we're having an issue here with Cartoon Animator's problems. I think I know how to fix this. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna save that character. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and save the object profile. Yes. And this time we're going to fix, let's go back to Illustrator. We're going to fix this by making it part of the leg. So, oops, let's go ahead and get a background so we can see what we're doing. Bop, bop, bop. Oops, put you up there. And let's make this a nice, sure. Lock it and come in, and let's scale this. So we're gonna join those in one group. That's our new thigh. And we're gonna add that, new, export, go put it in the right folder, save. Now we're going to come in here, go to the bone editor. Let's go ahead and delete this bone and delete that bone and turn on these. Going to delete that bone and delete that bone. And then we're going to come into here and go to the sprite editor, delete and delete. All right. So what we want to do is come back to the root and add our reference again. Okay. Root's going to go on the bottom. And then we're going to go to leg left, and we're going to add a sprite and thigh new. This time, what I want to do is I want to go like this, so it can be, well, no, we want it standing, so we'll just leave it as it is, okay? And now I'm going to take the bone editor and add a bone, and go right there in the center. And we're going to add your sprite. You're going to be the shank, boom, okay? But this time you're going to come up here, okay? And then we're going to go back to the bone editor. Add a bone right there, escape, and then we're going to click on this bone, sprite editor, add your foot back. And so we should have, I'm going to go to the root now and delete that. We should have a nice smooth. Let's go back to the bone editor and go add bone, bada bing, bada boom. Escape, close, edit end effector, U. And then now if we go over to our layers and we make sure the foot is down here, this is down here, and the hip is above it, that should work out well. Looks much better on that. What's up?
Do you know why we have a whole stack of vintage whites?
A whole stack?
Yeah, can you come take a look?
Yeah, let me finish this.
Oh, yes.
With this client. I'm just making a recording, then I'll be. So just pull what you can.
Okay.
Now we're going to duplicate the second leg. Do the same thing. We're just going to mimic it very close to it. And we're going to add a sprite for that one. Same idea. And it's going to go there. And then we're going to come to this bone, add its shank. And then we're going to come to this bone, add its foot. But we're going to move all of that below here. And we're going to turn off this so we can see if it's all aligned, which it was not. So I'm going to come here, bones, and then we want the hip above that, and we want the foot below those. Actually, we want the foot above it, sorry. Okay, so now if I preview this leg, that looks perfect. Okay, and zoom back out, turn back on these, file, save character, yes. Now we should have a perfectly tuned character. Now, I'm wondering if we could, first thing first, I'm gonna go save this and 0 curved. And why didn't it go to 0? It still thinks it's there. Let's just go double check. Oh, okay, so we need to take this entire bird and put it up here. Oh, edit end effector, I forgot. Make sure they both have them, U and U. That's important. Edit, save, and save objects. Go back, and then we're gonna go to content, custom, actor, Freebone, clients. I'm going to go ahead and click zoom in for a nice cameo. Save, flamingo, smooth. Now I have it saved. I'm going to go ahead and take this back into here, and I just want to try something. You could do this using the, I'm going to go to default. I'm going to add you, add it to the default, and I'm going to take off, remove. And I'm just curious if this will work. It does. So you could just do it like that. That's fun. Where you have another character version. I'm gonna go ahead and go save this as a different one. Flamingo, smooth, spring neck. Okay, so now we have two different versions. We have the spring neck and we have the non-spring neck that I could just use both. So now that I've got them both, this looks really good. We can take it in and animate it. So let's just do a quick animation. So we've got two. I'm going to take this guy, open this up. If you wanted an image view, you could take it. So composer mode to create a custom rig GUI. So I'm going to go into composer mode and I'm going to go ahead and click on, where is it? I'm trying to remember where it's at. It's been a while. There it is. Jeez. Capture. There it is. Cool. Done. And then let's do the same thing for this guy. Capture. Okay. And then we come in and we make sure, so you're the non-smooth and you're the smooth. So this is the smooth. This is the non-spring. So this one is this one. So flamingo smooth neck, overwrite. And this one is this one. Okay. And let's just make this official by turning this off. Okay, coming in here, going like this, and showing that neck. I wonder if this will work. Let's see. Smooth neck, spring neck. I didn't, that's okay. And then we come in here, let's turn on this one, and this one's just gonna be the normal. So, overwrite. Now we have two different kinds there. We have the smooth neck, spring neck, and the smooth, just the normal flamingo. Okay, so let's turn them both on, and let's just do a quick animation to have this guy jump. So we're gonna click on that. We're gonna make sure our transform is open, and I'm going to open this up. I'm gonna lock these, and now, why isn't that locking? Oh, I didn't lock it, so undo, lock. There we go. So now we're gonna do this. We're gonna start here. Okay. I love how the head does that. That's actually really fun. We're on full body. I always just do full body there, and then I go to the end, so we have a loop. Let's just say 150, set key loop. Now I have a loop where it begins where it ends, and then I'm gonna go to select a part, and here I want my character to, before I jump, well, let's just start moving it. So I'm gonna go to frame 15, and I'm gonna do select a part. I'm I'm gonna go like this. And so I'll just do a nice little thing. It's a little too slow. Bring it on over and maybe just let it sit for a second. Adjust, come forward. Let's play with the feathers a little bit. So he comes down. These guys are doing, oh, that's the spring. So I've got to use the actual feather one. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it down. And so those come down and then I'm gonna go pop, pop. I'm just curious. Yeah, that'll work actually really nice. And then I'm gonna hit reset, reset. So the feathers, okay. And then we're gonna go slightly down and then pop, boom. Okay, we're just gonna get the basic motion here and then boom. Okay, and then so it goes up. Ooh, it'd be cool to have a wing there too, but that wasn't part of the requirements. But so it's gonna go up, and now we need to turn these off. Okay, so let's do it again. Boom, boom, and then up. Let's just bring it back down to its same position here. Copy, paste, and let's turn these back on. I don't like that at all, so let's grab these. I want its position. I don't want its bone sprite, so transform, copy, paste, copy, paste. So I need to make sure at this point these are off as well. And it gets a little quirky with these, but you just gotta, learn its quirks and play with it. And then we could set it here and cut it off and hit repeat, play. And then when it comes back down, we want this to be, turn that back on, jump and down. Here, I can hit pause. So I just did a 30-minute session and I forgot to hit record. So here we are. What I've done is I took our character, I perfected the jump, and I created a collect clip. And all that means is once you like what you've done, let me undo all that, delete this guy. Once you have animated something, you really like it, you come in here, you turn on collect clips of the character you're working on, click and drag, beginning, end, and then you right click and you add to action menu. Well, I've already done that. You can also export the perform to have a separate file, but I like to add it to the action menu if it's something I'm going to use a lot for this character and it belongs to it. So now in my, let me pull this up. Where did it go? Freebone clients. Now when I drag this guy in, as I saved him after I created that, let's go to the very beginning, remove object animations. Boom. If I right click this guy, so right now if I hit play, you've got the one guy doing it. That's the one I worked on. But because I added to the action menu, now I can just do that and the action's there. And you can take this action in the motion clip and you can make it faster and slower using the speed here, this button. So now it's going to be faster, okay? Or you can repeat it by using the loop. Boom, boom, boom. So it just keeps jumping. Cool. So now what we're going to do real quick is now that I've got that action, I want to do a pose. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this guy, bring this guy to the middle. And actually, I'm just going to delete them both and start with a new fresh copy of our character. Bring them to the center. And let's go ahead and bring in a reference pose prop back of the original so I can make it look nice. So I'm going to go like this and bring it up, send it back, make sure it's back, and I'm going to lock it. And I'm going to match my guy, going to here, make sure I have I need to go back and save that, don't I? So I'm going to be in here. I'm going to click this button, capture, but let's edit the pose just a little bit. So, a little bit more space. I'm going to go like this on the legs. Okay, so now, in fact, the default pose, what if we did the default pose as the original? So I'm just going to go like this. And I'm going to make the default pose the original. Whoops, undo. Come on, Cartoon Animator. And, that's not what I wanted. Not the sprite editor. I'm just editing the pose. That's the default pose that I want. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and overwrite this. Yes, the end effects are good, so I'm not going to worry about that. So now, just delete and delete. I locked the OG pose. Let's just do that. Delete, delete, delete. And bring this guy back in. And now his pose is there originally. So what I want to do is I want to add an action. Let's see, motion, collect clip, and I'm just going to do export, not action here. So I'm going to do export and I'm going to go put it in clients. And this should pose one leg up. This should, so I'm going to come in here and go to animation. And I'm going to go grab that animation I just did, go back and pose default folder. So now I need to find that 2D motion pose. There it is. I'm not sure why, but there it is. Okay, so now if I take this and let's just say I moved it all around, you know, did funky things to it, and okay, and I want to fix that, I should do that. Yep, perfect. So undo, I just bring that pose back. Boom. I don't think, let me just see, pose leg up. I don't know if this will work. So let's go ahead and just do this. Let's just move a bunch of things and see if that action works. Okay, so let's go like this. And so now I should be able to take this and right click action menu, pose. Yeah. Okay. There it is. So it worked. So to wrap up our Freebone custom character, our flamingo, let's just show you what we've done. If I right click this guy, I have action menu. I have pose leg up, action menu, pose stand, action menu, jump. Now I don't include this in most of my packages. This is just a basic package, but I do love to collaborate, and that's why I included this in this package. If you do have work for me, I do have a Fiverr account. Feel free to follow that. It's in the description below. And then there's one more thing that didn't get recorded during that 30 minutes where I forgot to hit record button, which is super fun. Let's say when we do this jump here like that, let's say I won't call it lazy, but we'll use the word lazy for lack of better terminology. I don't want to deal with the neck. And so all you have to do is come into composer mode and come into the spring editor. And let's just add for his neck, let's just do assign to group, and then come to the head and remove. It's important that they remove the head. Now this neck has a spring action. So if I go like this, preview, just shake them, you know, now I don't have to really animate his neck, you know, for simple animations. Let's just turn up the bounciness a little bit. Let's turn it down. I kind of like it down. Then the speed, you know, you can play with this. Let's do more stiff. Okay, and then let's do speed and bounciness. Let's turn up the speed and the bounciness a bit. Anyways, you can play this. Let's do some squash and stretch. Let's do 15 and then stretch 15. And then let's do gravity. Let's bring the neck down a bit. You know, it just gives some aliveness and you don't have to animate it. And then all you do is once that's set up, you just come back and you hit play and look at the neck. Just like that, I didn't have to do anything. You know, and you could play with that more by just adjusting the neck here. Let's give it a little bit less gravity, and now let's hit play. You know, that's just like that. You have instant animation. So that's the last thing I wanted to show before we finish this little guy. But also, it's important if you do that and you want to save that. Let's say you modify it. You want to come over here and you want to save it as a new one, and just name it something like Springbone Neck. Flamingo Smooth or something like that. You just want to make sure you save it. No, don't overwrite this one. You want to save it as a new one in your custom folder if you are going to modify something like that. But that's a simple way to, using the spring bones, to just animate parts like that. But without further ado, appreciate you joining us. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. Any feedback, super appreciated, so I can do more tutorials like this. Hope it was helpful.